Yes, my name is Dr. Sidney Freeman Jr. I'm originally from Camden, New Jersey. A unique aspect of me is that I attended Pine Forge Academy, which is one of four remaining historically black boarding academies. After completing my high school experience, I went on to Oakwood University, where I earned a degree in interdisciplinary studies with three emphases: one in public relations, the other in business management, and the third in vocal performance. During that time, I started a group called the Progressive Black Caucus in college, and I began working with the president of the university. When working with the president of the university and attending one of the board of trustees meetings, I learned I had really deep interest in higher education leadership. After continuing to hone that desire, I pursued a master's degree in higher ed administration with an emphasis in student affairs at Auburn University. I stayed there for another 3 years and pursued and earned my PhD in higher ed administration. After that, I served in a role as a director of a teaching and learning center at Tuskegee University, a historically black college and university. I did that for 3.5 years, and then I was courted to come to the University of Idaho as an associate professor in the area of higher education. Although we don't have a higher education program, we have a lot of students that are interested in pursuing careers in higher education, and therefore I work with them on a daily basis to enhance their skills and prepare them for service, advanced service in that area. Yes. So initially, when I got out of school, I wanted to be an administrator, and but I wanted some kind of hybrid opportunity where I could be an administrator with some teaching responsibilities. Coming out, that's pretty rare, and so I was able to secure a directorship, which was I think was amazing. Coming out with not a lot of full time experience, I was given a directorship with a staff, and so that was helpful in developing my administrative skills. One of the things that was interesting was trying to understand uh, what influence or what power you have in an administrative role. And so that's been something that I've tried to discover over time, tried to do studies on to get a real sense of how much influence does a person have in a particular role, and how much power they may have in a role. And I found out in my role, I had some influence over things that happened within my unit. For instance, I could ask my staff to work on a particular project, and it was their responsibility to work on that project. However, I did not have financial decision making power. That resided with my supervisor. Therefore, I did not have the carrots or sticks to kind of force people to do things that I wanted them to do, given that I did not have certain resources. I just had influence based on my position, and that's called positional power. But that only goes but so far. So you had to build relations. I had to build relationships with my staff to get them to advance the mission of our department. I would say, as far as my role as a faculty member, we are seen as somewhat private contractors. So we work, yes, we work for the institution, and we have people that we report to, but it's a different level of engagement. We have a particular autonomy around our classes and things like that. So people don't tell us how to teach. They will encourage us to teach certain courses based on our areas of expertise. We also have influence on some of the decision making that relates to curriculum and other forms of teaching, and things that impact faculty are things that we have influence on. Outside of that, things are pretty much dictated to us by the administration. And so now that we are in a time that we have more administrators under pressure, a lot of times they're moving some of those responsibilities that they traditionally would take care of onto us. And so there's that tension right now between the faculty and their role and administrators and their responsibilities. Yeah, so I think what's pretty interesting is that I come with a unique background that I've studied higher education. So I have a sensitivity to decision making and things like that. I do think that the university is becoming more specialized, given that it's becoming more corporatized, and so I think there is an argument that can be had that how does a person that does not have administrative training or understands how higher education works, how do they have so much influence on decision making at the university? So I can see that argument. On the other hand, I think that those who have backgrounds in higher ed administration, meaning the faculty, I think we're underutilized on our campuses, given the expertise that we may have on studying higher education issues every day. So I think there is an inherent tension there. I think that administrators are asking faculty to produce more and do more, and therefore faculty are saying, I can't spend time immersed in administrative decision making if you're expecting me to produce more scholarship, enhance our teaching, and things of that nature. So there's give and take there, and I think right now I hear a box comments, but I think it comes within a particular context that is not always appreciated. I think the pettiness of amongst other faculty, kind of surprised me. Um, I think, I think not always having the kind of resources to be successful as a faculty member. So the expectation of the corresponding expectation of, if you're asking me to do more, then I get more resources to do that, and that's not always the case. I think one of the biggest things that I learned was that I thought that if you got a grant, that the grant, the money for the grant would be on would add to your salary. What we find is that that's not necessarily the case depending on institution. So like in my case, I can get $1 million grant, but that doesn't change my salary, right? So that doesn't make an incentive to get large grants and spend the time to do that, because your salary doesn't significantly change. The thing that happens is that it makes you competitive for a promotion later on, which helps to advance you somewhat, but still that's not even a significant raise. That's between $7,000 to $9,000. So it's not like you're making a 20% increase. So those are things that have been challenges. I think the thing that really is enriching is working with students is incredibly enriching. What I found for myself is that I enjoy coaching students, and so working one-on-one. I think a challenge of that is that that's something that's not scalable. So a lot of times, so let's say I may want to work with a student one-on-one. However, if every faculty member was just working with students one-on-one, then because of the cost of that would not be feasible. And so there's this tension between teaching classes, coaching our students for success, and so there can be tension there. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking that it may look different at the undergraduate level versus the graduate level. I think now it's mostly about what are the skills and competencies that students will need to be successful professionals. And so what are those core skills? And then after ensuring that the students have that, then you ensure that the other broader concepts are taught. And so I think that's how you really gauge if students are successful or not. Are students able to, are they job ready? So a lot of times, uh, things like being a critical thinker, having good computer skills, working with others, those are like core skills, because most people are not working, or a lot of people, let me not say most, a lot of people are not working in the area of where they got their degree. So people are more concerned about, are the skills that you gained in college, are they transferable to different organizational contexts or different disciplinary contexts. So I think the first thing you must do is understand what is valued, and see if what is valued by colleges and universities are aligned with what you value. Because there's this constant tension that I find in my own career, and when I speak to my colleagues, there's a tension. So let's start with faculty. So let's say in a research university setting, it's very important, or is seen as important, that you publish in top tier peer reviewed journals. It's important that you present at major conferences. It's important that you write a lot of grants, right? And so if you don't see yourself liking writing every day, getting up and writing every day, if you're not interested in doing a lot of presentations, then and then also teaching on a continual basis all the time, being a faculty member may not be for you. But if it is, it's something that you should pursue. I would encourage students to write with their professors as soon as possible if they think they want to become a professor. That's going to be extremely important to get those experiences. And I believe that one of the core things is to get points on the board. And what I mean by points on the board is, actually, it doesn't, at the beginning, it doesn't matter as much about where you publish, is that you can show that you can publish. It doesn't matter how big the grant is. It's just showing that you can secure a grant, or you can work with people to get a grant. Further along in your master's or doctoral experience, there's going to be more of an emphasis on where you publish or what grants you've gotten. But I would say focus in on putting some points on the board, get some experience shadowing a professor, and or co-teaching or teaching a course. As it relates to administration, try to get as many internships as possible and shadow different people in different departments. So I had the opportunity to work in advancement and development. I had the opportunity to work in assessment and evaluation. I got a chance to work in research and innovation. I've had a chance to work in enrollment management. I've had a chance to work in alumni affairs. So I've had a breadth of experiences working. I worked in housing and student affairs. So all of those inform my thinking when making decisions, because I've had exposure to different areas. So those are not necessarily full-time positions, but those have exposed me to areas in different vantage points based on different departments within a university.
Thank you so much for your time today, Dr. Freeman. I really appreciate this.